Yo, it's your boy Mr. Box Office from Mr. Box Office TV, back with another video. Newcastle 2, Tottenham 1. And same old Tottenham again. Same old Tottenham. Yes, it wasn't too bad of a performance. You would say that maybe we should have won the game. We had more of a game, yes. But it was the same things that I've been complaining about for so long. Why I said the transfer window was absolutely bang average. And it was clear to see in this game today. Tottenham Hotspur, unfortunately, couldn't finish off their chances. And because of our midfield being bang average, because our defence can't handle great balls and fall asleep in crucial moments, we let in a very crucial goal. And that's why we lost this game today. Yeah, people will say that we had all the chances. Yes, people will say Newcastle sat back a lot of the time. But that was the tactic from Newcastle, which was clear to see. That was it. They knew that Tottenham Hotspur were going to have more of the ball and they were going to press. And yes, when we pressed, we got most of the ball. Yes, we did. But Tottenham Hotspur again, through Romero lack of concentration, Doji giving away the ball, Poro being bad in defence, again, let us down again. But when you look at our overall game, you think Tottenham Hotspur had a very good game. A lot of the players had a good game, especially in the second half when we were all over them when Johnson came on for Sarr. There was a period in the game where we were trying to play when the referee was stopped the game for stoppages because they had to change the linesman because the linesman was injured. And that was it. Tottenham Hotspur had a good period in the game. Tottenham Hotspur were really on top. But then when Newcastle go down the other end, they find a way through, and it was like they carved us through so easily. And then Harvey Barnes just needs to put a shot in the back of the net, and that was it. It was just one of those things that we've seen this before last season, and it's just carried on through to this season as well. And it just goes back to what I said about the midfield. Why was it so easy for them to get through that midfield? It was so clear to me, and I think both sides had this problem. It's just that Newcastle had better players that were more clinical and more effective, like Joel Linton for the second goal, which we'll go into a little bit more, is that no one could just put their foot on the ball and say, this is what we need to do. The only player that could do it, and it was winding me up, was Maddison. And towards the end, Maddison got taken off because he got too tired. But when Maddison had the ball, things were starting to move very quickly. And that was it. But the problem is that when you're putting so much pressure on Maddison to come deep and then come forward, he's less effective going forward, and that was it. Another player I need to talk about, Heung-min Son. You saw him in the first half, he goes past his man Kelly. But after that, second half, you didn't see any of it. Didn't see any of him. And that was it. And it just shows again, highlights again, why do we not get a midfield general in that midfield? Why do we not get better players up front? Because it was quite clear to see when we were on top, we didn't take our chances. We weren't clinical enough. Most of the chances were outside the box. Basuma had a chance outside the box. Sarr had a shot outside the box. Maddison had a shot outside the box. And yes, they were close. Some of them were close, but just wasn't enough. It just wasn't good enough. The first part of the game, it was quite hectic. Traffic all over. Tottenham were Newcastle causing a lot of traffic in front of us, causing a lot of problems. And it looked like a very long game for Tottenham Hotspur. You could see that the midfield, Gudneres and you had Joel Linton, who were really strong in that midfield. And you could see that the wingers, the wingers for Newcastle will cause a lot of problems as well with Gordon and Barnes, Harvey Barnes. and Livramento, who was also causing problems as well. But it was only that Stottish, it changed the momentum. And to be fair to Postecoglou, he had a chat with some of the players, and then we started to get a little bit more on top. We were starting to pass the ball about, taking control of that midfield, and that was it. And it was just a momentum sort of thing. We were just passing the ball forward a little bit more without really any penetration, without being really effective. Making clinical chances. That was it. It was more chances from outside the box, and that was it. It was then afterwards that Newcastle scored the goal. It was just carved through for Barnes. When Barnes got the ball, he just put in the back of the net inside the box, and that was it. It was one of those frustrating moments because you sat there and thought, well, you've seen this before. You've seen this before with Tottenham. They have most of possession. They're carrying on. They're doing what they're doing, and end up letting in a goal, a crucial goal. And it was quite carbon copy what we've seen before, especially against Leicester because we had loads of possession as well, and that was it. After the goal, we struggled again to get through Newcastle. Newcastle just keeping it tight and saying, you break us down. You just come on and break us down. And we just couldn't break them down, and that was it. Son was less effective going past his man. Alderweireld, who again shown how raw he was and why I criticised why we're putting him in this position, he missed a few chances as well. There was even chances where when the goalkeeper Pope had palmed the ball away, and you had Alderweireld just, if he was more switched on, he could have scored the goal. But again, when you're putting the pressure on a young boy who doesn't know, who's not there yet, and that's why I said, why are we overhyping this guy, right? When you can see clearly he's not ready. He's not ready at all. And why I said we needed someone more established, other than Timo Werner, that below average Shane Long, that German Shane Long, who again, I've got some things to say about him as well. When he came on, did absolutely nothing again. So that was a waste of time, wasn't it? Another loan. So again, it shows you again what we're doing. And I don't understand it. I really don't understand it. But going back onto that there's a front line didn't do anything. Yet they caused a little bit of ruptures, and that's what Postecoglou's system does. It's very manic. It's very manic. It caught lots of overload, so it's just lots of manic play and lots of it looks good when because it's attacking football, yes, but it's not not very silky. It's not very calm. It's not like composure. And I think that's why it worked for some of our players, because there's no players that got composure, trying to fill the game, trying to, when you got Man City and you saw Newcastle, when they were attacking, you could see there was a little bit more composure, more silkiness about the play, and it was more effective. When you see Tottenham, it's more kamikaze, very, very manic. It's like a traffic jam. It's like a road traffic jam. It's just all kamikaze, trying to get through and trying to just get through, and that's it. It's very fast and very fast paced. You've got to have your eyes really close to it, because if you don't, you miss it, and that's it. And that's where we ended up to half time. Now, to be fair to Postecoglou, he changed it. He put Johnson on for Sarr. And I can see why he put Johnson on, even though I don't rate him. We all know we don't rate Johnson. He put Johnson on the right because I think what he wanted to do was put Kulusevski more in that midfield so he could get Maddison up that end of the pitch. The only problem is that he had Basuma as more defensive, and that was the problem for me, because we all know Basuma is not a number 6. We all know he's not a defensive player. He's more someone that can do bots to bots, and that's it. But it did have an effect. We had more of the ball. We were causing more problems. Johnson was getting in. I think more the point I think Johnson did well in is that he was tracking back, he was pressing, and that was giving more joy to Newcastle. Newcastle were making very bad mistakes towards their goal when they were passing it and they were giving it away. And that was really because of our pressing, that's it. And it was having a big effect, definitely. Definitely. The problem was with Tottenham is that we didn't take our chances. And it's only because Pope parried it away from a shot, thinking if it was from Maddison or Son, and parried it away. And, I think it was from Johnson, parried it away. And then, unfortunately, Burns, for him, he put it in the back of the net. He put his own back of the net, his own net, I mean. And that was it. So then we had the momentum. We had the momentum. And if you were looking at the overall game going on to the second half, if you were thinking who's going to win the game, it would have been Tottenham. You would have said Tottenham, I would have said. Definitely. But then Tottenham dominated the game. Johnson was coming in from the right-hand side, dominating it. Maddison was getting more of the ball, getting around the pitch and trying to do it. Kulusevski was getting, and to be fair to Kulusevski, he was pressing really well, getting the ball back and doing a lot of good play, yes. But Tottenham didn't really have good clinical chances. There's only one chance that I thought Johnson put the ball across the box and no one was there. No one was there, and that was it. And you could see the connection. If it was like Harry Kane and Son, you would know. If it was Harry Kane there, Harry Kane would find Son, and Son would score a goal. If vice versa, Son, Kane would know where to go, score the goal. It's like if it was Dwight York, Andy Cole. But you can see why my problem is with my front three. It is not good. There's no connection. There's no chemistry. And that is a problem. And whether you have any system whatsoever, you can drill it whatsoever, but it's all about quality. And that was the problem. And it's shown it straight away after Newcastle went down the other end. It was a good ball from Joe Linton. Murphy, because it was some good substitutions from Eddie Howe, who was trying to stem the flow of Tottenham's attacks because we were right on top of them. He brings on Tonali, he brings on Murphy, and puts the ball into Isak, who was very quiet in the second half, obviously, because of the play, how much play we had, and he scores the goal. 2-1 Newcastle. After Tottenham Hotspur dominate the second half, we come home with absolutely nothing. In highlights, exactly why I didn't rate our midfield. I don't rate our forward line, and that's it. And it summed it all up when the only guy that really, in my eyes, could put the foot on the ball and try and pass it round, Bentancur, tackles Gomeris, fouls Gomeris and gets a yellow card straight away up before he comes on, after he came on. It's just sums it all up perfectly for me, why we are not good enough in attack, midfield, and unfortunately it's affecting the defence. In the defence, that, to be fair to Dragerson, wasn't that bad. But then in saying that, when you've got a forward line that is just so average, don't take their chances. Yes, Johnson was okay today, but again, wasn't effective enough. Again, it wasn't him scoring the goal. It was him just putting the ball in the box. And unfortunately for him, Burns put in his own net, and that was it. The midfield, not good enough. Yes, you can have all the possession in the world, but unfortunately, it wasn't good enough. And again, I asked the question because we did nothing after that. We did nothing after the goal. I asked the question. Everyone was going over the top about Archie Gray and Burval. And where was Bergvall and Archie Gray? Bergvall came later on in the second half. So that's how much he rates him. And Archie Gray didn't even come on the pitch. And this is the problem we're going to have all season. We're going to have this all season now, because you can see straight away, there is a problem. There is a massive problem with our attack, our midfield, and it's going to affect our defence, and you're going to affect the goalkeeper as well. And when you've got youngsters that are not even ready yet, and you're going to play Europe, and Europe, they're not silly. Those managers are not silly. And in Europe, you've got to have composure, and we have got no composure in that midfield. And exactly why I said I wanted I'd rather have Højbjerg in my team. I'd rather have Lo Celso back in my team. And that's embarrassing. Absolutely embarrassing. And I told you, we needed better attackers, better forwards up front. And this is going to be our downfall. And people will say, well, it's only a build. Or it's only one transfer window. Well, tell that to Romero when he leaves for Real Madrid. Because yes, he might have made the mistake, but Real Madrid are still looking at him saying, well, you're still their best defender. I'll take you all day long. Yes, it wasn't that bad a performance. No, it wasn't. It wasn't a bad performance. But these are the crucial things that are going to be crucial in games like cup finals, cups, Europe, where unfortunately we'll lose games and be out of competition. And where's your trophy then? And there's your frustration. There's your frustration being a Tottenham fan. There's your frustration when you see what you've seen before. And then you see what Johan Land said on the club website. It's just a joke. No explanation for why we got these signings in. And you think this is progress. Yeah, we might win the odd game. Yes, we would. We'll be up there in the top 10, yes, but it will not be good enough for trophies, because you've got to improve these players massively. And unfortunately, certain players can't be improved. They've only got a certain role in the team, and that's it. And unfortunately, I don't rate Postecoglou coaching these players, because the same mistakes are happening all the time. You can be trained into a system, but what about you as an individual player? How can you be better as an individual player? You can be technically very good, but what about you as a player being a better player, becoming a better player? Not a better person, just a better player, better footballer. And again, I say it again. I look at Bournemouth, I look at Joel Linton, I see arrogance. I see swag. Is that swag? Arrogance. I don't see most of those Tottenham players have got any arrogance whatsoever. I don't see swag. And I certainly don't see composure. And that's it. And unfortunately, this is the truth. This is the truth that I've been telling you for so long now. It's the reason why I'm on loan to other sides to watch them rather than Tottenham. And there's a reason why that I think life is life and football is football, where you just have to just be honest with yourself about your football team. And that's it. And that's the way it is. It's not negative. You see it quite clearly. Yeah, the stats will say that we've dominated the game. Yes, we have. But we didn't have clear-cut chances. And the reason why is because the system we play, yes, they weren't inverted a lot of the time. No, they weren't. But the system we play and the quality of the players we've got up front and in midfield, which is what I've been complaining about. Yeah, you can have hope saying that these players are going to get better. But again, if we're going to say this, we should just got Harry Winks back. We should have just got Ollie Skip back. We should not let go of Højbjerg. because Højbjerg would have been on that pitch, 100%. He was using him last season. Lo Celso would have been on that pitch. Who, just remember, even though I criticised him, a lot of people were saying he played well last season. So what are we doing? What are we doing? I mean, yeah, you can try and pick out a man of the match from that, but at the moment, who's won the game? Newcastle. And that's it. I mean, we'll have to see what happens next game after the international break. And look what we've got next game. The North London derby, Arsenal. And Arsenal, a step up from Newcastle. Don't need to say anymore, and that's it. Tottenham Hotspur just doing the same things again, disappointing again. I'm going to go off and do other things for my day, and that's it. Hope you all are well. Keep liking, subscribing. And as always, if you didn't know, get to know, support your boy, Mr. Box Office, subscribe and like, and come on you Spurs. And I'm out.